It's all fun and games till someone gets shot.
We have some new tweets from the developers. We'll also be talking about the new update, but also a little bit about Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat and how it relates to Tekken and just the FGC. But the first two I want to talk about is this one from Nakatsu. This goes back to when Harada announced that he was getting rid of the new team and bringing back the original team. We missed Nakatsu's statement on this, and he says, "We will work together as a team and do our best to improve the game so that we can meet everyone's expectations, even if only a little." Now, it's good that this new update that they put out is making a lot of people happy because this is the first step towards putting the game back on path. Just the general conversation around Tekken 8 was getting pretty crazy. Like, you have this tweet here of the Street Fighter players making fun of Tekken. For those of you who don't know, there was this viral post where a player by Noah the Prodigy was talking about how his dad told him to quit school, basically, and practice Street Fighter, and in doing so he became one of the best Street Fighter players in the world. But here's where this guy comes in and says, "This is terrifying because imagine your dad pushes you to become a fighting game prodigy, and then all of a sudden devs drop Tekken 8 Season 2. So when you talk about just a casual discussion around Tekken 8, this is what it was. But now the developers are recovering. And speaking about this new update, shout out to Tekken House Bro, does great work on Twitter. Go and follow him. But you have these screenshots here that comes from the game itself, and these are amazing. I know these new outfits were given some controversy because the female characters look like Kunimitsu, but the in-game models themselves looks amazing. You also have these character panels as well for Eddie, Steve, King, Leroy, and Lars. You could go into the game right now and get these for free, but then also you have these outfits that are on sale. Wow, this one I bought, the biker one, I could have waited and got it for like half off or whatever. I guess that's the thing about buying it early, right? But also what I wanted to point out about this outfit is that you could put the female character's hood up and down. One thing that I do have to say about this mechanic, I think it's fire, but I do wish the developers will allow the hood to stay up for a little bit longer. Maybe make it to where the hood automatically stays up for the whole first round, but then in the second round it gets knocked off, because I feel like sometimes, bro, it gets knocked off after one hit and I'm like, the fit is ruined. Now, as for the lead guy, Harada-san, he's once again talking about Waffle House. Now, I will not play this video because you cannot show this type of violence on YouTube, but someone says, "Still waiting for my Waffle House stage," and tags him. Now, Harada says, "If we can't get that house name license, how about we call it Hustle House stage? Doesn't that make sense to everyone?" Now, Dale says, "Nah, bro, call it Scuffle House. Makes more sense for Tekken." Now, for those of you who don't know what Harada is referring to, this goes back to the start of Tekken 8, where there was a viral video of basically a brawl inside of Waffle House, and Harada was intrigued why Waffle House and Tekken are always mashed together, right, in memes and stuff like that. And basically everyone explained it to him, and then he was like, "Okay, let's see if we could get this an actual stage in the game." And he sent a request to the Waffle House company. Harada says, "To be honest, with the balance of what I can say, I fully understand you guys' request. That's precisely why I had to consider taking on this challenge. In fact, I already been thinking about it quite a while ago. Over the past year or more, I've actually tried to make contact through several different channels. However, this is purely my own speculation. I suspect that the lack of response might be due to the fact that the project I'm known for revolves around fighting themed video games. By the way, no response equals very rare case. That said, if, like I suggested earlier, using a different name or a format is acceptable as long as the core message is maintained, then I would be willing to seriously reconsider and explore again." So he's basically saying that the Waffle House is pretty much off limits, but do you want a different type of stage that this is the theory, this is the idea. You start off the match inside a restaurant, and then you could break a wall and go into the parking lot. I think if they can't do that for Waffle House, if they were just able to do that with any stage, it would be pretty fire, because that is a very unique concept that we haven't seen any fighting game do. And for Tekken to be the first would be a good one. But now I want to take a turn and talk about esports a little bit. First off, a big question that was being asked during Evo Japan is, where is the Pakistani players? Arslan, I Tiff, the whole gang. And I told multiple people that they all got disqualified. The reason why they got disqualified, as you can see here, Arsenal says, I miss Evo Japan so much, I wish I was there. Basically, there was a situation that happened between the country of Pakistan and India. The country of Pakistan went into lockdown. The airports was closed. This means the players couldn't travel, no one could move. Arsenal tweeted, stay safe, everyone. Now, the situation was quickly resolved. The president of the United States, Donald Trump, was able to meet with India and Pakistan and get them to agree to a full ceasefire. In response to this, Arsenal tweeted, the war is over. It's good to see that this didn't spin out of control and turn into something that could have been very dangerous for the whole world. But also, it is pretty tragic that the Pakistani players couldn't travel to Evo Japan. Without them, it was definitely missing a little bit of sauce. Regardless, he was able to win the entire event, and he said, I did it, 40 years old. I won't read this entire event, but I think it is a powerful read. He basically just speaks about his journey with Tekken 8 and how he struggled a little bit, how he felt lost at one point, unsure at one point. This is something that we see other players who went to Evo Japan and performed pretty badly also saying. So you can see that even the guy who won Evo Japan at one point in time was feeling like, wow, I suck at the game. It's cool to see someone win one of the most prestigious fighting game tournaments of the year at 40 years old. Next up, you have Osan, who's bringing a little bit of a concern to everyone's attention. Osan says, I heard a lot of players watched the replay and were ready for opponents. It was affecting the tournament more than I thought, and I wish we had an option to turn it off about the replay permissions. Now, there was people who were talking about maybe leave it on for ranked, but in player match, group match, and all other different type of matches, maybe there should be a feature to turn it off. Now, I remember this was a big conversation at the start of the game, but to see that it's still impacting the game, I'm interested to know how you guys feel about this. Do you think that the pro players should be able to have that privacy, or do you think, like, you know, let the people compete? Because I mean, if you compare it to real sports are allowed to have that time to practice, train, and then go out there, right? Normally when you study footage of people, you study the public, like, tournament footage. You don't study the practice footage and then practice their practice footage and they're practicing your practice footage. It's kind of weird, right? But also you have Yasuda. This is the esports developer from the Tekken team. Starting from TWT 2025, dojo tournaments will issue points based on actual number of participants, not number of entries. Tournament organizer and staff must ensure that the absent players are properly marked as a DQ. If handled with arbitrary scores like 0-2, insurance dojo points may be invalidated. Now, talking a little bit about Mortal Kombat, because Ed Boon is doing something pretty interesting on Twitter. He's been posting basically the PlayStation top downloaded games for North America. He's been posting this for many months now. And as you can see, for the most recent one, Mortal Kombat is at number 18. And the fact that Mortal Kombat is top 18 most downloaded game in North America on PlayStation is a lot, because the general conversation around this game is that Mortal Kombat player base is low. You know, we look at the Steam charts and it's abysmal, but now we're realizing with these posts from Ed Boon that Mortal Kombat's majority of its player base comes from PlayStation, and it is by far one of the most successful fighting games. Speaking to this, you have Rufo Monger, who says, once again, Steam charts are never a true solid indicator of actual player base considering console exists. MK1 makes the charts on PlayStation. No other fighting game does. Some games are more popular on one or the other, like Street Fighter. Street Fighter is really popular on PC. We don't know about its PlayStation usage, but it's obviously not in the top 20 like Mortal Kombat. And then Tekken 8 was a little bit popular in both. We know the majority of its player base lies on Steam. But for Mortal Kombat, their entire player base is basically on PlayStation, and they're dominating. Here's another screenshot where Mortal Kombat was in the top 15 games played on PlayStation. And you have another screenshot here from Ed Boon that shows 4 times where Mortal Kombat was in the top 15 played games on PlayStation. PlayStation. But then lastly, you have this one where it's in the top 20. So this is pretty astounding. Now, if we shift topics and talk about what Street Fighter is doing, these guys are cooking as well. Their game looks amazing, but also this update here, or this collaboration here, is basically a collaboration with Overwatch. And this blew everyone's mind because, you know, they were the first ones to do the Fortnite collaboration, and that really pushed Chun-Li, Cammy, Ken, and Ryu all into stardom, right? And that really helped keep them alive in terms of this online era, right? And then looking at that success is what made the Tekken players want a piece of it. You know, put Tekken skins in Fortnite. Mortal Kombat got their skins in Fortnite in the previous season pass that Fortnite did. But here we are, Tekken players still waiting for our Fortnite skins, but Street Fighter already moved on to the next hit game. Now you have Overwatch, which is pretty cool to see. I love that all these fighting games are doing great work. I just want Tekken to do a little bit more collaborations themselves. Capcom, we have older fighting games that aren't playable on modern hardware. We'll listen to fans to offer a place to play them. Seeing Capcom's continued commitment to bringing their older fighting games to modern hardware is amazing. Harada is now also committing to that idea somewhat. There's discussions happening inside the Bandai Namco Corporation about how to do it, when to do it, what type to do it. But it's just cool to see that these old fighting games that basically built these franchises to what they are now aren't being left behind. I wonder when Tekken will do it, and then also Mortal Kombat. That's an interesting one.